E-Millions. Hey everybody. Happy 4th of July. It's your guy, E-Millions, coming to you live from the cookout. Honestly, all I wanted to do today was keep it simple. Fire up this grill, flip some burgers, maybe burn a few hot dogs, and just enjoy the celebration with the people I care about. But you know me. I always end up finding something a little different.
Well now, E-Millions, my friend, what in the heck do you have there in your hands?
Right here, I've got the Dragon Balls themselves, 7 of them. And you know what that means, one wish, anything you want. So today, on this 4th of July, with the smell of barbecue in the air and fireworks in the sky, I wanted to give these to someone who's dedicated most of his life to this country. Turns to President Biden. Mr. President, you've been a political figure longer than most folks have even been alive. You've served with heart, whether people agreed with you or not. And I know it has to be tough watching your legacy being chipped away by executive orders and policies that undo so much of what you built. So in honor of your decades of service, and in the spirit of freedom, resilience, and good old-fashioned American cookouts, I'd like to present you with the Dragon Balls. May you use your wish to bring this country a little closer together, or at least make sure everybody has enough barbecue sauce and potato salad today. Go ahead, Mr. President, make your wish. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Stay safe, stay hopeful, and remember, sometimes a little magic can go a long way.
All right, if I get a wish, here's what I'd like. I wish I could travel back in time to the 1850s to stand right there in America's early days, see this country when it was still in its infancy, still shaping its identity, still deciding who we were going to be. It's the 4th of July, folks, a day we celebrate the best idea ever put on paper, that we're all created equal and we all deserve a fair shot. And I'd love nothing more than to take that journey back in time, to look those early presidents in the eye and remind them what this country could become. And I want you, all of you watching, to come along with me. Let's learn our history. Let's feel it in our bones, because knowing where we started makes us stronger for where we're going. So here's my wish. Take me and anyone who believes in democracy back to the 1850s so we can see for ourselves how far we've come and how much further we still have to go. Let's do this together. Happy Independence Day, America. Let's make some history. Again.
Hello, my fellow Americans. I'm James K. Polk, the 11th President of the United States. I was born in 1795 in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, and I passed away in 1849, just a few months after completing my term. Before I became your president, I studied at the University of North Carolina, practiced law, and served as Speaker of the House and Governor of Tennessee. When I took office, I made a promise to accomplish an ambitious agenda, and I did so within a single term. Today, I'd like to focus on the executive orders and proclamations I issued, which shaped our nation's destiny. In May 1846, after Congress declared war on Mexico, I issued proclamations authorizing military action and calling for volunteers to defend and expand our country. I followed with orders directing the occupation and governance of California and New Mexico as our forces secured them. On June 16, 1845, I signed an executive order marking the death of former President Andrew Jackson, honoring the legacy of a man who shaped our era. On March 23, 1847, I authorized U.S. forces occupying Mexican ports to levy import and tonnage duties, opening those ports to trade and generating revenue for the war effort. After the victory, I issued orders to collect customs duties in annexed territories, a step to integrate them into the Union. To end the Oregon boundary dispute peacefully, I proclaimed the settlement of the Oregon Treaty with Britain, fixing the line at the 49th parallel. I also implemented the Walker Tariff of 1846, lowering tariffs to encourage commerce and strengthen our economy. And in times of reflection and gratitude, I issued annual proclamations for days of fasting, Thanksgiving, and public observance, calling our people together in unity. These decisions were not always easy or without controversy, but I believed deeply in America's destiny to grow and in our duty to secure peace, prosperity, and liberty across the continent. Thank you for listening to my story. As I often said, no president who performs his duties faithfully and conscientiously can have any leisure. Stay engaged. And remember, for democracy, I live for, and for democracy, I die for. Please like, comment, and share this video on YouTube. Now, let's hear from our sponsors at Da Bomb Digital Media.
Pauline's Pizza, where we deliver happiness one slice at a time. What's your craving today?
Yeah, hi. Is Seymour there?
Oh, Seymour. I think he might be busy making our special pies. But hey, why not swing by the pizzeria? We've got a pie with your name on it. Anything else I can help you with?
I was looking for Seymour Butts.
Ah, I see. Well, if you're looking for Seymour Butts, he might be hiding behind a pepperoni slice. Anything else I can do for you today?
No, that's it.
Thank you, President James K. Polk, for sharing your remarkable story and for reminding us how much determination and vision can shape a nation's destiny. Your leadership through war and expansion left an indelible mark on the United States. From settling the Oregon boundary to opening vast new territories in the West, your presidency set the stage for the America we know today. Folks, as we continue our journey through history, it's my honor to introduce the next voice in this series. Please join me in welcoming our 12th President of the United States, General Zachary Taylor. President Taylor will share his own story, his life, his time in office, and the executive orders and proclamations he issued during a pivotal moment in our nation's past.
Hello, my fellow Americans. Before I begin, I want to thank President Biden for welcoming me to this extraordinary conversation across history. It is a testament to the power of democracy that voices from different centuries can speak to one another in common purpose. My name is Zachary Taylor. I was born on November 24, 1784, in Virginia, and I passed from this life on July 9, 1850. During my years on this earth, I served as a general in the United States Army, and, later, as the 12th President of the United States. Though I had never held elective office before the presidency, I dedicated my life to defending this union. While in office, I made decisions that reflected my commitment to the nation's security, prosperity, and the rule of law. One of my earliest executive orders, issued while I was still commanding forces in the Mexican-American War, authorized U.S. troops occupying Mexican ports to collect import and tonnage duties. This measure opened trade with the United States and neutral nations, raised revenue to fund the war, and weakened Mexico's ability to continue the conflict. As president, I proclaimed a day of fasting and prayer on July 3, 1849, to bring the nation together in the face of a devastating cholera outbreak. I also issued a proclamation in August of that year warning American citizens against joining an unlawful invasion of Cuba, a reckless scheme that endangered our neutrality and our standing in the world. In January 1850, I revoked the exequatur of the Spanish consul in New Orleans. Soon after, I established Nisqually and Portland, Oregon, as official ports of delivery to expand lawful commerce in our growing western territories. In July, I signed the proclamation ratifying the Clayton-Bulwer Treaty with Great Britain to prevent either nation from dominating any future canal across Central America. Throughout my term, I sought to guide the country through rising tensions over slavery in the new territories. I believed that, with patience and respect for each state, the Union could endure. I want to leave you with this thought. I live for democracy, and I die for democracy. If you believe in keeping this conversation alive, please like, comment, and share on YouTube. And now, let's hear from our sponsors at Da Bomb Digital Media.
Hello, everybody. Before we continue our journey through American history, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Da Bomb Digital Media, for making this program possible. Thanks to their support, every Wednesday, we'll be offering free training sessions to help empower citizens with knowledge and skills. You can join those sessions every Wednesday at noon and again at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. For democracy, I live for, and for democracy, I die for. Now, as we keep shining a light on the leaders who shaped our country, it's my honor to introduce our next guest, the 13th President of the United States. They're here to share their story and to talk about the proclamations and orders they issued during their time in office. Stay tuned. This is going to be a fascinating conversation.
Hi, I'm Terrence, a marketing professional with a passion for helping your business grow smarter and faster. Here at Da Bomb Digital Media, based right here in Atlanta, Georgia, we specialize in bringing your vision to life. Whether you're launching your first website or reimagining your entire digital presence, we've got you covered. From modern website design and search engine optimization to setting up your own AI-powered agency tools, we deliver innovative solutions that keep you ahead of the curve. Ready to unlock your business's full potential? Let's build something remarkable together. For more information, visit our YouTube channel. Just search Da Bomb Digital Media on YouTube and start exploring tips, success stories, and everything you need to elevate your brand.
Hello, my fellow Americans. I am Millard Fillmore, the 13th President of the United States. I was born on January 7, 1800, in a humble log cabin in Summerhill, New York. My journey carried me from poverty to the highest office in the land. After I left this world on March 8, 1874, I was laid to rest in Buffalo, New York. When I assumed the presidency after the passing of President Zachary Taylor, our nation was in turmoil over the question of slavery and the expansion of our union. Though I served in an era before the modern numbering of executive orders, I issued proclamations, directives, and official instructions that shaped our country's destiny. Allow me to share with you some of my most significant actions. Proclamations. I issued a proclamation recognizing California as a state in 1850, welcoming it into our union as a free state. I called upon the American people through my proclamation regarding Thanksgiving, inviting them to gather in gratitude and prayer. As unauthorized military expeditions threatened peace, I proclaimed stern warnings against filibustering expeditions to Cuba, reminding citizens of their obligations under the law. And upon the sudden loss of my predecessor, I issued a national day of mourning to honor President Taylor's service and sacrifice. Executive-type orders and actions. I directed federal marshals to enforce the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, one of the most controversial measures of my time. I issued orders implementing the Compromise of 1850, striving to ease the fierce divisions between North and South. I authorized the expedition led by Commodore Perry to Japan, setting the stage for America's first formal relations with that distant nation. Other official acts under my administration. We established the Utah and New Mexico territories. I approved the organization of federal courts and customs offices in our new western lands. I also recognized the final boundaries of Texas, helping settle disputes that threatened to erupt into conflict. I led in a time of profound challenge, and my decisions were not without controversy. Yet I believed, as I still do, that we must strive to preserve this union, however imperfect it may be. Thank you for taking a moment to learn about my life and the measures I took to guide the nation. May you always remember that our republic requires vigilance, compromise, and a devotion to the greater good. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Folks, let me just say, before we bring out our next guest, how wild it is these days. You know, back in the 1800s, they didn't have to pass huge bills with thousands of pages just to hide what they were up to. Nowadays, we get these big, beautiful bills. More like a nightmare, if you ask me. Chuckles. You need 3 pairs of reading glasses just to figure out who's hiding what behind which hand. But hey, that's democracy, right? Sometimes messy, sometimes a little crazy, but always worth it. Anyway, let's get back to the real stars of American history. I am honored to introduce the 14th President of the United States. He served during one of the most divided times in our young nation's story, and he faced challenges that still echo through our politics today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome President Franklin Pierce.
Hi, Joe. Thank you for giving me the chance to speak to everyone today. I'm Franklin Pierce, the 14th President of the United States, and I served from 1853 to 1857. I was born in Hillsborough, New Hampshire, in 1804. I graduated from Bowdoin College and built my career as a lawyer before entering politics. I served as a U.S. representative, a senator, and I fought in the Mexican-American War, where I rose to the rank of brigadier general. When I became president, I took a number of actions that shaped the country, though not always for the better. During my time in office, I signed the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854, which repealed the Missouri Compromise and let new territories decide on slavery by popular vote. It led to brutal conflict known as Bleeding Kansas. I expanded American trade by sending Commodore Perry to open relations with Japan, which changed global commerce forever. I approved the Gadsden Purchase in 1854, adding parts of southern Arizona and New Mexico to the United States for a possible transcontinental railroad. I supported the strict enforcement of the Fugitive Slave Act, which made me deeply unpopular in the North. I issued proclamations warning Americans not to join unauthorized military expeditions into Cuba and Central America.
Thanks to President Franklin Pierce for sharing his story and the challenges he faced leading our nation during a very complicated time. History isn't always easy, but it's important we remember and learn from it. Now, we move forward to the 15th President of the United States, James Buchanan. He stepped into office at a time when tensions over slavery and the Union were reaching a boiling point. Buchanan's decisions would shape the nation's path toward the Civil War. Let's hear from President Buchanan himself about his life, his presidency, and the orders he gave while in office.
Hello, everyone. I'm here to introduce the 15th President of the United States, James Buchanan. James Buchanan was born on April 23, 1791, in Cove Gap, Pennsylvania. He graduated from Dickinson College, went on to become a lawyer and diplomat, and served as a U.S. Representative, Senator, Secretary of State, and Minister to the United Kingdom before becoming President. He was a member of the Democratic Party and served as President from 1857 to 1861, with John C. Breckinridge as his Vice President. Buchanan's presidency was marked by growing sectional tensions over slavery and states' rights. He supported the controversial Dred Scott decision, which declared that African Americans were not citizens and that Congress had no authority to restrict slavery in the territories. This ruling further divided the nation. During his time in office, Buchanan tried to maintain peace between the North and South. However, he was often criticized for his inaction as the country edged closer to civil war. His presidency is often viewed as a prelude to the conflict that erupted just after he left office. Though his leadership is seen by many as ineffective in preventing the secession crisis, his term exposed the deep divisions in America that would soon tear the nation apart. Regarding his executive actions, while formal executive orders were less common then, Buchanan issued important presidential directives to uphold federal authority amid rising tensions. He firmly enforced the Fugitive Slave Act, demanding the return of escaped enslaved people to their owners, a move that escalated sectional conflict. He supported the Supreme Court's Dred Scott ruling publicly, which deepened the nation's divisions. On the military front, Buchanan worked diplomatically to resolve tensions during the Utah War, avoiding open conflict with Mormon settlers. As southern states began seceding, Buchanan faced the difficult challenge of defending federal properties like Fort Sumter. However, he delayed decisive military action, which critics argue emboldened the secessionists. He issued orders to maintain control of federal forts, but avoided escalating confrontations, a choice that remains controversial in history. James Buchanan died on June 1, 1868, but his presidency remains a critical chapter in America's story, a time of division, challenges, and the approach of civil war.
Well, folks, that's going to be continued. Remember our mantra. For democracy I live for, and for democracy I die for. Thank you all for tuning in today. Make sure you come back in 2 days to check on Joe. He was missing there for a bit, and I sure hope he's doing all right. We'll see what he's gotten himself into next. Before you head out, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. If you'd like more For Democracy materials and resources to prepare with the Resistance Lab and Senator Pramila Jayapal from Washington State, visit emillions.org. And remember, call and write your representatives. Hold them accountable to represent your best interests. All right, everyone. That's the show for today. See you in 2 days. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and stay ready. And now, we'll close out with a word from our sponsors.
Without education, you are not going anywhere in this world. Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. I have often reflected upon the new vistas that reading has opened to me. I knew right there in prison that reading had changed forever the course of my life. As I see it today, the ability to read awoke inside me some long dormant craving to be mentally alive. And just because you have colleges and universities doesn't mean you have education.
Thank you, Pam, very much. What a job you're doing. And it's a true honor to be with you today. This is a storied hall, if there ever was one. And based on the crowd, I think we broke the all-time record. But as we begin a proud new chapter in the chronicles of American justice, this really is something. We're turning the page on 4 long years of corruption, weaponization, and surrender to violent criminals, and we're restoring fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. And you're the people that are doing it. Very, very proud of all of you. Under the Trump administration, the DOJ and the FBI will once again become the premier crime-fighting agencies on the face of the earth. People ask me, what am I going to do about law enforcement all the time? The fake news back there, they're asking me that all the time. What am I going to do? And when are you going to do it? And I answer them by saying I've already done most of it by appointing the people that I've appointed. They're sitting right here. They've done most of it. I don't do it, they do it. Right, Pam? I think, oh, you are so tough, they just don't know yet.
Pauline's Pizza, where we deliver happiness one slice at a time. What's your craving today?
Hi, can you tell me about your menu?
Of course. We offer handmade pizzas with different crusts like thin crust, original, or deep dish. We also have fresh salads, pastas, and both bone-in and boneless wings. Would you like to hear about our specialty pies or any current special deals?
Do you have any gluten-free options?
Yes, we do. Our gluten-free crusts are super tasty, but there's a $3 upcharge. Would you like me to go over the options with you?
Great. What's the largest size pizza you offer?
Our largest size is the extra large pizza, perfect for feeding a crowd. Plus, if you upgrade to an extra large, you'll get a free 2-liter soda. How does that sound?
That sounds great. Can I get that gluten-free?
Absolutely. You can get the extra large with a gluten-free crust. What toppings would you like on your pizza?
Do you offer any vegan cheese options?
Yes, we do. Our vegan cheese is delicious and comes with a $3 upcharge. Would you like to add that to your gluten-free pizza?
Yes.
Great choice. So we've got an extra large gluten-free pizza with vegan cheese. Any other toppings you'd like to add?
Well, one moment. What about hosting an event? Do you have any space for a birthday party?
Yes, we do host parties and offer catering. Let me get your email address so I can send over our catering plans. How many people are you planning to invite?
I left my sunglasses there last week. Can you check if they're still there?
I can definitely check for you. Can you describe the sunglasses for me?
They're black with silver frames.
Thanks for the details. I'll have someone check on that for you. Is there anything else I can help with today?
No, that's all for now. I'll call back later. Thanks.
Folks, if you can hear me, please help me break out of this time loop. I've been bouncing from president to president, and I'm not sure how much longer I can keep this up. Next episode, we've got a big one. Abraham Lincoln and Andrew Johnson are coming up. You won't want to miss it. In the meantime, I hope everyone out there has a great Independence Day. Celebrate our democracy, celebrate our freedoms, and remember, we're all in this together. Thank you, and I'll see you soon, if I can ever find my way back. For democracy, I live. For democracy, I die. For.